So my horse has got something kind of funky going on with his eye. We don't know what it is, so we're gonna bring him into the vet and see what's going on. Hopefully it's nothing serious or not cancerous or anything. But first we gotta find the horses. They're out here somewhere in the pasture. There they are. See them? We sent my mom out with her car to go find them, and she's she's got them coming.
Look at him run.
Oh yeah, everybody's here.
Everybody's here. Oh wow.
Hey Rosie.
Coming in quick.
Hey, easy.
Do better off going up to the corral. You don't get kicked though. They're full of themselves. These Trump and Dirk are being really classy to others, so don't get kicked.
I know. Okay, we'll be fine. No, it's okay. Ornery horses.
Hey, Joe.
Huh? At least everyone's here. We haven't lost any to the wolves and the lions. Get out of there, Derek. Not yet.
Is this Miss Lady? Is this Lady?
Yeah.
I never met her. Rosie and Dirk. Cowboy. I'm gonna take Buck home. I think he might let me get it.
Look at his eye. There. See how it's all teary and gross. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. Pink and inflamed. And that's what's making the tears.
Is it just being pink?
Yeah, so the tears
My mom's an animal science major, so she knows her stuff. She's kind of the lady we go to with questions. You got a friend on your shoulder.
What?
There's a friend on your shoulder.
Oh, hi Miss Lady. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, the pink, it's inflamed. And hopefully it's not a cancer thing. Come on, Cowboy. Cowboy into you. Okay? I think if we get Dirk's teeth floated, they'll look better. Yeah. I think he's just at that young age where he needs some teeth work done. Oh, guys, you want to watch the gate?
Yep.
I'd love to throw Dirk in and get his teeth floated now too, but we should have made another appointment. Actually, those old guys need their teeth worked done, but we'll make other appointments.
What'd you say?
Those old guys need their teeth done. Everybody needs their teeth done, probably.
So we're bringing two of the older horses with us too, Cowboy and Buck, because they need a little special attention to be fed a little bit more. And these guys, they'll stay here still for a few months. As long as we're going over to the vet, getting Trump's eye checked out, we're also gonna get his teeth floated. What that means is just their teeth kind of get sharp edges on them, and it's tough for them to eat, and it also can form lesions in their mouths and stuff. And
the teeth are sharp.
It's just how they grow. They can just get sharp.
Or is it from grinding on food?
Just everything, either eating and grinding or just growing. So you're supposed to get their teeth floated pretty frequently, and since we just bought Trump about a year ago. We don't know when his teeth were floated before that, so they need to be done anyway. And it's a lot more comfortable for the horses when you're riding with a bit in their mouth. So we're just gonna do that while we're going over there anyway. We're gonna have to do the rest of the horses sometime in the future too. But since we're bringing them over to get them checked on, we thought we'd just do it all the same day. Hey buddy. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Want him in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can get behind it too.
Okay. There you go. It's all right. Here.
So for horses that can only see, the left eye is the only thing that sees the left side of them, and the right side is all because the way that their eyes are positioned.
Mm-hmm.
Like humans, we have some crossover, but horses don't.
Sure.
So if they lose an eye or they get blind in an eye, they can't actually see on that side,
Okay.
period.
Right. Okay.
So, and that affects depth perception too, because they do have in the front, some of it they can see a little bit. It affects how they can see as far as depth perception for that kind of thing.
Sure.
Their eyes are just really sensitive, or they can be sensitive. They, get a hay seed or something like that stuck in them.
Yeah.
And the eye is also kind of a privileged place, so the body doesn't allow a lot of immune reaction in the eye, so that it can be kept separate.
Okay.
Similar to the brain in that way, actually.
Okay.
And so it's kind of hard to treat them systemically. You can't just give them a shot of penicillin and expect it to get into the eye, because
Really?
the blood supply is totally different.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm going to sit him just a little bit. So I want you to listen to his heart here.
Okay.
So I'm just going to see. It depends depends on if it's on the third eyelid. So the horse, we humans don't really have one, but dogs and cats and horses and cattle, they can actually retract their eye back into the socket, and then there's a rim of tissue that actually can come to help protect the eye. So it's a third eyelid. So you have your upper, lower, and then you have the third eyelid. You don't see horses often, but like your dog, it's really obvious that like if they have something in their eye, that kind of pulls up. And it's more that they pull their eye back, and then that's allowed to come up. But anyway, I'm going to see if that's on his third eyelid or if it's on the cornea, because that will make a big difference as far as what needs to be removed.
You would prefer it's on the eyelid?
I'd prefer it's on the third eyelid. Those are really easy to remove.
Sure.
The other one, you actually have to take off part of the front part of the eye, the cornea.
Really?
And that's a little out of my league of general practitioning. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Harry's getting sleepy.
Now we're winning. It's much better.
Yeah.
You want him to be like at 3 tequila.
Yeah.
Not one beer, depending on your tolerance levels,
Right.
I guess. But
So, is there a concern that if there's this little bit on his eye, there might be tumors elsewhere, or is it hard to say if it's
hard to say for sure.
benign?
And squamous cell carcinoma would be the most likely thing. You can't tell 100% without having a pathologist look at the cells,
Sure.
but that's the most common thing, and it'll affect the pink part of the eye. It'll look a lot like that. It generally is locally invasive. Horses typically don't have a lot of metastases of this tumor commonly. I mean, I'm not going to say never.
Yeah.
And I see it in their face a lot. I'll see it in the third eyelid. I've had a few that have actually gotten it in the mouth.
Really?
The gingiva and in their jaw, and then it destroys the jaw.
Sure. Yikes.
So it can be real aggressive that way, and so that's why another reason that we want to see horse eyes somewhat quickly, because if it is something like this, if we can take care of it when it's small, then
Right.
it can be very curative.
Is this still pretty small, or should he have been
Well,
brought
we're
in?
going to see. I don't think it
Yeah.
is. They can be kind of misleading
Yeah.
until we get in there. As far as
Yeah.
being able.
And this is what?
It's just carbocaine.
It's like a
just
nerve
blocking
block?
the nerve. Yep.
Just blocking the nerve. Okay.
Most of the eyelid function on a horse is the top lid. I mean, their bottom lid moves some, but you can see, like when you ask him to blink, that a large portion of the movement is actually from the top. So this blocks that top eyelid.
Oh, okay.
So there you can see kind of that bumpy texture to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the fact that it just sort of peels off, it's all on the third eyelid.
Okay.
Here.
That's good.
That's real good. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. It's weird. Someone coming at your eye with your finger, huh? Doesn't appear to have, I don't see anything on the cornea. So the cornea is the surface of the eye. It's very similar structure to your skin, only you can see through it.
Oh.
So it doesn't have any vessels, and it does have kind of an epithelium and things like that. But
Okay.
so it looks like what I can see of it anyway is pretty. So I won't have time to remove this today.
Okay.
But
You'd have to bring it back.
Yep. But it isn't an extended procedure. If I didn't have something right behind you, I'd be able to do
Yeah.
it. But I just
Yep.
won't be able to do that. But we should
That's
do
fine.
it. Make another appointment here in a couple weeks
A couple weeks. Okay.
and try to get rid of that. But
Okay.
it's actually a fairly simple procedure. We use another thing to numb the cornea so that he doesn't feel it. He's kind of this level of sedation, and then we actually just take some clamps and then we cut along the clamps and
Really? Okay.
put it back in, and
Sure.
generally do well. He may be the type of horse that is prone to this, so
Because of
there
his
are-
color, or just
Probably genetics, to be
Genetics,
honest,
okay.
because he actually has nice black. We worry a lot about the horses that have pink skin because the melatonin that makes this black is sunlight protective, just like it is.
sure.
I'm sure you're fair and you
Yeah.
sunburn easily.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
that kind of thing. So actually, but he might just be more prone to it. So one thing you could do, they do make fly masks that have UV protection, so
Okay.
they're like wearing UV sunglasses,
Mhm.
and so that's a good idea for for the horses that have already had this problem.
Sure.
Removal is generally curative of this particular lesion, but that doesn't mean down the road you wouldn't get another one.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep. That does make sense.
Okay. So this is a speculum, and it holds the horse's mouth open. It does not open the horse's mouth. The horse has to open his mouth himself.
Okay.
But this does hold it open for me once we get it on there. So those incisors sit right up against those bit plates.
Sure.
And then you get it nice and tight on his face. Speculum may be the same age as I am, and
Oh,
not
really?
to say that I'm old exactly, but
25 years old.
we're both showing our age.
You're like 25.
25.
I know.
Mhm.
That's
It's much nicer. My daughter in preschool, when they did the little like Mother's Day thing, she's like, "Oh, my mom's 56."
Oh, really?
Ouch. And I was like,
Oh.
well, maybe I just look really good for 56.
my daughter can't count. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Clearly, preschool has failed her with counting.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you want to try one more time with me, maybe? Try this.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it doesn't
There.
click. I creak more, the thing creaks less. And some snacks.
That's just a flush. Or,
Yep. Novosan, little antiseptic rinse.
sure.
It's like when you go to the dentist and they have you swish Listerine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't have a way to get the horses to do that prior.
Right.
They hardly ever brush either before they
Wish they would, probably. Huh? And floss.
Yeah.
You may be able to put that camera right over my shoulder and then be able to see all the way in there.
Yeah. It's kind of
Like
fun.
that. Yep. So we have teeth all the way back. And what he has mostly is sharp points. The jaw on the horse, the upper teeth are a little bit wider than the lower teeth.
Okay.
And so that allows them, they'll get points on the inside of the lower teeth, as you can kind of see there, along here. And then they'll get sharp edges on the outside of their upper teeth as they do that bite stroke.
So that's what you're gonna grind.
Yep.
Ways, just the
Yep.
sharp edge.
Yep, and then his teeth also have a bit of what we call a wave. So that means that it starts out low, gets a little higher in the middle, goes down again, and then it ramps up a little bit in the back.
Okay.
That seems to be somewhat of a, we correct it, but it can be considered kind of normal in a horse as far as like if they've never had their teeth done before.
Okay, so he probably hasn't. You would guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not recently for sure,
Yeah.
maybe not ever. And then on this right side, he actually has a pretty high ramp in the back. That back, very, very back molar has a pretty good ramp on it.
Okay.
And this would be one that would be misleading too if you didn't sedate him and put the speculum on, because sometimes they'll have a hook on the front here and that'll tell you that they'll probably have a ramp back there too, but he wouldn't have had that. So if you would have just like done the old pull the tongue out and look, you maybe would have missed
Sure.
most of what's wrong with his mouth.
Huh.
Their grinding surface, or the flat surface that's in their mouth, you want to leave that somewhat intact so that they can still chew.
Sure.
It's just like sandpaper, the finer the texture, the longer that it takes for
Okay.
it to take off. And so you obviously need them to chew, grind their hay.
Yeah.
But we need to take the points off and then make sure that the alignment is good so that they can chew properly.
Okay. Oh yeah. Sure, yeah. Cool.
Okay, cool. That's where your bit
Mm-hmm.
can pinch the cheek into. Your bit shouldn't be touching that tooth, but the sides of your bit will push this cheek into that tooth.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that's extra comfortable for when he's being rode.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you say that's probably been causing him a little discomfort till now?
Yeah, I would say that. And then
Yeah.
those ramps in the back, when you're riding a horse, especially when you ask him to stop
Uh-huh.
or even to turn, this lower jaw actually has to slide forward when
Okay.
he gives his bit, when he gives his face. So he'll put his face down like this.
Mm-hmm.
For him to flex his neck, his jaw has to slide just a little bit forward.
Mhm.
When they get locked up with those ramps, they don't like that.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of them will be like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and they'll keep trying,
Sure.
but they'll keep zinging themselves.
Yeah.
And then they learn to do
Yep.
that really lovely where they put their head in the air and just keep going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, I'll just avoid that. And then it's like they've forgotten how to stop because the only way they know how to stop is by doing this. And then
Yeah.
they're like, well, if my head's up in the air, I just keep
Yeah.
going.
Sure. Okay.
That's where the jaw wants to break over or break open.
Mm.
And that's perfect. About 2 incisors on the other side the same way. Very nice truck. Good job.
Good job, buddy.
So what's your YouTube channel?
It's just Sleep Ranch. It's been kind of fun. Well, thanks, Liz.
Yeah, absolutely.
we just brought these horses over to the feedlot. That way we can give these older horses some grain. And Trump will be right here when we need to catch him again next week. Buck feels good. Should jump on him, babe. Yeah. But these old horses, all the horses have had hay whenever they want it at the other house. We go feed them all the time. But these older ones just need a little grain to get a little more chubby. So it turns out that Trump does have a tumor. We're gonna have to bring him back in a couple weeks to get that cut out and removed from his eye. And we're also gonna bring the rest of our horses too and get their teeth floated like we got Trump's teeth floated. So I think that's just where I'm gonna end the video today. Thank you guys for coming along. I really appreciate it. If you wanna see Trump get his eye cut up, hit that subscribe button. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See you in the next video.
Peace out.